Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a Halloween inspired orange and black look. I was gonna do, you know, kind of a kitty, black kitty kind of a look with, you know, doing like a little black nose and a little kind of mustachy kind of little whiskers, but I don't have any cat ears and I didn't have anything for like a costume. So I just thought I would do kind of a orange and black with some glitter, and I did get some inspiration from the back of my shirt, so I'm going to turn around and show you that. It's kind of that rainbow bling, if you will, and so on my eyes I'm using the ABH loose glitter in the shade Electric. I show you guys how I apply that, just what my kind of method of operation for working with loose glitter is. And yeah, so let's get into what I used. I used the new, this is the Makeup Revolution Haunted House palette. Look at this packaging. Like, I absolutely love it. This is what the palette looks like. Love this packaging though. And I also had to dip into the new, Fire palette. Looks like this. As you can see, very, very pigmented. Absolutely love how the look came out. It's a very, very bright and very Halloweenish. Gives me that Halloween vibe for sure. So, okay, that's it. So, if you guys are new here, I want to take a second just to welcome you guys to this video and to my channel. My name is Lauren Jade. I am 57 and I have mature, crepey, wrinkly skin with hooded eyes that are slightly downturned. I'm always looking for ways to kind of rock my situation here and pass my tips and tricks on to you guys. I know we all have different eye shapes and different levels of hoodedness, so sometimes you kind of have to, you know, you might have to adjust and kind of tweak things to make it work for you and your eye shape. But yeah, hopefully you guys pick up a few tips and tricks. And yes, if you are new, I would love to have you join me. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell right next to it. That way YouTube notifies you each and every time I upload, which I am now going to be uploading every Thursday for sure. I'm planning to do that unless, of course, something comes up. But yes, Thursday is going to be my official day for videos, and I may include a second day in there, or I probably will do like a second upload every now and then. But I'm not sure on the second day. I don't want to commit to that. But yes, I'm going to try to do the Thursdays. So, okay, that's it. So if you guys want to see this Halloween look in these Makeup Revolution palettes, then just keep on watching and let's just get right into this tutorial. A little bit of baking because I know that I'm going to be working with bright colors today and probably some glitter. I know that I tend to forget to show you guys the powders that I'm using, but I'm using the RCMA. This is a no color, so this is the white translucent, and then this is the luxury banana powder from Ben Nye. This is the banana powder, so I kind of mix these two together in kind of a little container, and so that's kind of what I'm using for my baking. All right, I'm going to prime the eyes, and I'm just going to use my, I've got this P. Louise base. I just haven't really dipped into it because I just use this. It's just quicker. But this is a P. Louise brush. This is MAC's Paint Pot here in Soft Ochre. And I'm going to prime here. And then I'm going to set the primer P. Louise style. If you guys have been watching me for a while, I've kind of said bye-bye to that translucent powder deal. You know, the cookie cutter, one size fits all YouTube tutorial method of setting powder that just, or setting the primer. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I've always thought that idea was kind of half baked. So I'm much happier with the P. Louise style of setting the primer. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to grab my, hold that thought. I'm going to grab my Melts Blur because why not? This is like a super handy and it's right here. And I'm just going to set this. It's a nice skin tone friendly shade and it works so amazing. I don't know where I would be in my eyeshadow game now without my Melts Blur, which I totally love. So I'm just going to set this super quick. This is another P. Louise brush. I'm just going to get that going real quick. All right, now I'm going to get everything together. Actually, I'm going to grab a little bit of this classic shade right here and throw that on my brow bone. You guys know that I always bronze my crease using the Hoola bronzer, but today I'm just going to grab this shade here from the Tarte Clay Play, just because I have this palette on hand. I'm just going to do a quickie because I'm doing a yellow, really kind of vibrant yellow and orange. I'm not going to bronze very, very much, if hardly at all. I'm just going to put a tiny bit up here in the upper socket area, in this inner socket up towards the brow, and connect it a little bit with the nose contour. No matter what eye look that I'm doing, I always do this step, always. I just feel like it softens the brow and just really, I don't know, gives such a nice sultry fade. You guys know how much I love that. This is a NARS 41 brush here. I was kind of talking about how I'm going to use this bright yellow as my transition shade, and I'm going to plug and play, as always, right out here. This is where I start all my shadows for the most part, except if I'm doing kind of a defined inner socket type of a look, which I do with my bronzer. But with these colors, I kind of start out here in my little plug and play area, and I'm going to wing this out because my cut crease is going to actually have a wing, a slight wing. So I'm going to start to wing that out, and then I'm just going to build this up. I want this to be really bright and vibrant, so I'm just going to go in a few times and just kind of build this shade up. And I am taking this pretty much high in the socket, so even though I kind of start like out here and kind of flick that out, I'm taking this high up into the socket so I can really kind of carve out and really kind of hollow out this lid space, because you guys know that I like to cheat that lid space. So I usually take this transition shade usually up pretty high up into the socket, so kind of up towards the brow, and I'm just really kind of carving that out. So yeah, just really taking this up high because I want to have all this as my lid space. All right, you guys will notice that with this look, there's a lot of back and forth. You know, you go back to the first color and the first brush, and then you're on the third color, you go back to the second color and the second brush, and then the first color and the first brush. So there's going to be a lot of like back and forth, which you guys will see. And now I'm just kind of grabbing a bone shade from the Tarte Clay Play, and I'm just kind of dusting this up out here to kind of catch the edges of that yellow, which is my transition shade. So the yellow is kind of what I'm using as a transition shade. This is really going to be bright. All right, so I'm just putting this in here, my little plug and play area. So my orbital bone goes kind of up here, and then it kind of goes higher up as I kind of go in. But like right here, I can't push in. You can see that socket bone is right there. Right here, I can kind of push in, and right there during the softest part right there, it's a few millimeters from the end. So right there, we kind of see the skin pushes in. That's kind of where I start everything for me, because that's in alignment with my lower lash line kind of going up, and that's kind of what I want. And then if I do blend anything out after that, it just kind of blends out around here, so I keep that alignment. Because if I brought the shadow like all the way down here, then when you blend it out, you'd be like way out here, and that looks good if you're like young and have tight taut skin. But when you have mature, crepey, wrinkly skin, that doesn't really look the best. So I like to kind of keep everything within the structure of the actual eye frame itself, if that makes any sense. I don't venture too far out and wide. All right, so I'm just kind of bringing this up and in, and I'm going to stay right in that socket bone, so right underneath that bone, and then I'm going to flick this out. Kind of give it a little bit of a winged out, kind of a cat eye effect. These type of eyeshadow looks, I always like to have a really fat, thick shader brush. I call these like my smokers. So this is a NARS one, this one's Bobbi Brown, and this one is a Laura Mercier. This NARS one is a super thick smoker. So I'm going to take this one. This is the Laura Mercier one. And I like to tap and press the shadows on because I feel like when you do that, it almost kind of does the blending for you. So I'm going to take this yellow and I'm just going to tap this and press this right on top of that orange, just to kind of re-intensify that yellow again. And just make sure that that yellow is nice and vibrant so I have that gradient of color. So I'm just going to pat that on there. And when you do that and you kind of drag it down, it kind of blends in to the edges of that orange shade. So you can see that this orange is right here. And then I'm just tapping and pressing this yellow down into the edges of that orange. And the edges of that orange is just kind of melting and blending into that yellow shade. This is literally like my favorite method for working with colors because it just almost kind of does the blending for you. And then I'm going to take that smoker. Oh, there goes my brush. So this is my Laura Mercier smoker. And I'm just going to feather then outward. And it's just going to kind of, it just kind of blends itself really. That yellow is now kind of blended into that, the orange is blended into the yellow now. And I just have a nice gradient. It's just a really kind of seamless flow. And it just works really well. And now I'm just flicking this outward because I want to keep with that winged out kind of a cat eye look. All right, we're going to hot fire this look up here, and I'm going to take Lava now, and I'm pretty much going to do the same thing, but I'm going to kind of keep this shade a little bit lower, and I'm going to kind of just, blend it into that other orangey shade. This is just really going to brighten the whole thing up, and I'm just going to kind of plug this in my little plug and play area right into the socket. I'm going to hold this one. This brush I'm going to kind of hold horizontal because I kind of don't want to push the color up. If I hold the brush down here, it just tends to push that color up. So I'm going to kind of hold it horizontally so I can just get the color exactly where I want it, which is right in my little plug and play area over here. I'm going to push this color out, stay right underneath that socket bone, kind of hug the socket as they say, and then I'm going to pull that out to that cat eye. This is really going to brighten up the whole look. All right, I feel like we need to dip into this palette a little bit because we haven't even gotten into there yet because of this vibrancy that I needed from this fire palette. So let's go ahead and take Phantom, and I'm going to kind of start to, not completely 100%, but I'm just going to kind of start to open up the lid space, and then we're going to put in the fake crease. So let's just go ahead and just start to kind of open this up a little bit. Kind of cutting the crease, but not really here. Just kind of open this lid space up. And I'm taking this really high into the socket because I'm going to do some glitter right there. So open that up. So I'm going to take this red shade and I'm going to actually create my fake crease with this one. This is actually called Red Hot, again, from the Fire palette. This was supposed to be an entire look based around this, but when I decided I really wanted to do an orangey look, there just wasn't the bright oranges in that, so I had to go into this palette. Really bright red shade I need to really be able to see. So I'm taking this fake crease. This is going to go pretty high up into this inner socket area here. And I am just following my normal, doing my normal thing where I just kind of follow my socket bone shape here. Following my orbital bone, I'm taking this down in here, and then when I get to my little kind of plug and play area that I talked about before, where you can kind of push this in and I'm right underneath that bone, when I get to that area is where I'm going to kind of stop, and I'm going to kind of give it a little flick out because I am doing kind of a winged out look. And when I get to this inner part right here, I'm kind of taking it more straight across as opposed to, I mean, I am hollowing out because I'm following my natural curvature of my socket bone shape here. But rather than kind of coming down in, which you can certainly do that, I'm going to kind of take it more straight across because I really want to maximize all of this extra, get myself a lot of extra lid space up in here because I'm going to use the glitter. But you can feel free to just kind of take it down here if you like, and that would look amazing as well. I also turn my head to get kind of this little hump area here. And I'm going to kind of flick this out. Now, just to kind of help to poof this little red outward, I'm just going to kind of tap out these edges over here, just kind of flick them up. This is like super bright over here. So I feel like you guys know the drill at this point. So now I'm going back in with that orangey shade, but I'm taking a really small, tiny, flat little shader brush. This is a MAC 144, and I'm just tapping and pressing that lava orange shade right on top of that fake crease line. And then I'm also dabbing a tiny bit of that yellow on top of that. So you guys know the drill at this point. So it's that same process. All right, I'm using the NYX Shadow Base in white to cut the crease. This is my favorite step because I like, well, next to bronzing my crease, I really like to make that lid pop. Before I do the glitter, I'm actually going to do my smoky wing. I'm going to do kind of a shadow smudgy wing, and I like to do that before I do the glitter because once you do the glitter, it's just like, it's just hard to work with shadow. If you're working with liquid liner, it's a little bit of a different story. So I'm going to take this gray shade first and smoke that up, and then I'm going to do the black on the bottom so I kind of have a gradient smoke from the gray into the black. So I'm starting with the gray. I'm going to start on my outer lid. And I always take my wings kind of straight across. I don't know how these people do these like sticking straight up triangle methods like that. Just like I don't think would look attractive, but especially not on me. All right, I'm going to smoke this on the inner corner. I'm going to keep it a little bit thinner on the inner corner. I am going to also wiggle it into my into my lash line right here. And then as I get out to the end, I'm going to pull it out into that little cat eye shape and then just kind of connect it down in here. This one right here called Decrepit. I'm going to go into the black now, and I'm going to do the same exact thing, except I'm not going to take this up as high as I did the gray. I'm going to kind of wiggle it more between my lashes to give some depth and dimension into the lashes. Not really tight lining, just kind of wiggling it in there. And I'm going to keep this black really tight to the lash line so that I get that fade up into that gray. So it kind of fades from the black into that gray, and the gray just kind of looks like a poof of smoke on top of it. That's kind of the plan here. All right, I'm going to kind of take a break from the lashes, and before I do the glitter, I'm going to go and smoke up my lower lash line. Ooh, this is going to get pretty intense. So I'm going to start with the same shades that I used up on top. I'm going to start with the red. some people like to, and I do this all kinds of different ways. Sometimes I will start with the lightest shade and go into the brightest. And sometimes I start with the brightest and kind of go into, I'm gonna bring this up here also. All right, wow, this is a whole lot of color I got going on over here. All right, now we're gonna do the glitter. And I decided to do the glitter because this is my Halloween shirt right here. And I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it's a beautiful rainbow glitter I got going on here. And then this is the front. So I wanted to use a glitter that resembled this. So I'm going to use my ABH loose glitter. And this is in the shade, I want to say, this is electric. So this is the electric. And this is a very much a rainbow glitter, and I'm going to be using the glitter adhesive. So I'm going to go through how my modus operandi, I guess if you will, is for working with this loose glitter and this glitter adhesive. So let me go ahead. This one is called Electric. This is the ABH loose glitter, and it has a lid on it when you take off this, which I really like, and it also has kind of a salt shaker type of opening here. So you open this up and you get something that looks like this. So you can see it has that on there and then has this salt shaker type. And I'm going to take a tiny bit into the Petri dish, just like the tiniest amount. And I'm going to close this up, make sure that it's closed, and then put the lid on there. And then the glitter adhesive comes in almost like kind of like a little nail polish type of style. And I'm going to tap a little bit of this on just the tiniest amount in here onto the Petri dish. And the way that I like to do it, it's just good to have a little bit of extra insurance when you're working with glitter, because you know, you never know. So I'm going to use my Bobbi Brown cream color brush. I'm going to dip it into the adhesive, and then I'm going to tap it lightly, kind of right where I'm planning to place the glitter, which is kind of like in the first half. And you kind of have to work fast with this. And then I'm going to dip again into just the adhesive by itself, and then I'm going to dip into the glitter. And it's just an effortless, easy application all the way around. The last time I did this method, I literally had zero fallout. Like, I didn't have any glitter anywhere. All right, I'm going to touch up my face, clean up out here. Falsies are on. Wonky as always. All right, so that completes the look. I absolutely love how it came out. Decided to go with kind of a nude lip with just a little tiny bit of sparkle. I didn't want it to compete with what's going on the eyes. So yeah, this is like a really matte, as you can see, very, very pigmented, blend very well. For the most part, most of these shimmers kind of have that metallic, you know, that metal foil effect, and some of them are just really shiny shimmers, but I absolutely love the formula. I have no complaints whatsoever, so everything, I'm happy with it. So that's it. My phone's about to shut off. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And I do have the new Tati Beauty palette on the way. So there will be a tutorial with that. And I'm working on getting on a schedule. So hopefully I will be uploading every Thursday for sure. If I decide to include a second day in there, I will let you guys know. But yes, I'm planning to do a, for sure, every Thursday. So that way you guys can plan for it and kind of watch the video on the weekend. All right, that's it. I love you guys. I will see you in my next one.